final third.
I think Pepe's so coachable.
Well, you should be in,
just need to shake him.
You should be in prison. We bailed you out. We bailed you out to come and play this season. You're out here disgracing us. You should be in prison. You facing charges.
Hello, people. Welcome back to a very special episode of the Final Third. It may be the Manchester United season review. We didn't have an all-star season, but I do have an all-star cast with me. To my right, I've got Mr. Aaron United. I've got Ty from Never a Foul, and I've got Laz. How are we doing, guys? Hope you've had a great day.
Doing good, man. Doing good, yeah. We were just speaking off camera. The sunshine is amazing. It's just a shame that, you know, some of us have to work from home, so you can't really enjoy the sun like that. But yeah, we're all good.
You just gotta go to the balcony.
Yeah,
taking the sunlight anyhow you can, fam. You gotta enjoy the sunlight in this England, fam.
Yeah, but I'm good, man. I'm good.
Ty, how are you doing, man? How you doing?
Yeah, man. Now, thank you so much for having me on. Obviously, big up Lies every time he's been on my channel enough times yourself, and great to do a show with Aaron as well. But yeah, man. Yeah, the sun's shining today. I'm on half term, so I'm having a few days just enjoying it at the moment. So yeah, man, you know, let's get into the season review. A great platform. So obviously make sure everyone like and subscribe and support everyone in this channel right now, man.
Thank you. You heard him. Make sure you're smashing that like button, get your comments in, and make sure you're subscribing to the Final Third. Laz, how are you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm excited to talk about this. Like you said, man, the season didn't end how we expected it to, but I'm looking forward to talking about it nonetheless.
On that note, let's get right into it. All right, so I want to get you lot's first. I need to set a scene first before we can really do this review. I want to know what you lot's thoughts were going into the season. Let's go from the end of the transfer window. So final day of the transfer window, we've signed Cavani, we've signed Alex Telles. We've already copped Van der Beek. Am I missing anybody? I don't think so. Henderson's obviously come back from loan. A couple other youngsters been promoted. What was your thoughts going into the season? I'll start with Aaron.
So my thoughts going to the season, I didn't really expect much because the transfer window wasn't really the best, and I think a lot of United fans complained about the transfer window not being good enough, and obviously the whole saga with Sancho was going on ever since the transfer window opened, and personal terms agreed here, personal terms agreed there, and he's coming, he's not coming, and in the end he didn't, and I think that, you know, annoyed a lot of United fans, including myself. So yeah, I was a bit like, okay, cool, we got Cavani, which I was happy about because I always thought that in terms of goals, he'd always give you 10 plus in a season, which he did this season. And Donny, I was very happy that we got him because I was always a fan of him ever since we played him in the final of the Europa League 4 years ago, actually, because I follow a lot of youth football. So he was always one of the players that I wanted to come to Manchester United. And when we did get him, I was delighted, man. I really was. And obviously Tellers as well. One thing I always liked about him is his delivery, and I think we've seen enough games where his delivery is just sick, man. That left foot is crazy. So going into the season, I probably thought, okay, last season we finished third, so second with a trophy for me is a good season. That's what I had in mind. Second with a trophy, whether it was the Europa League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, I didn't really care. At least I just wanted a trophy. That's what I wanted.
Lars, I'll go to you next. What was you thinking beginning of the season?
Listen, I was definitely not as optimistic. I remember last season, the way we ended it off, that Europa League semifinal defeat. I always say that the way a team finishes off a season kind of has a huge bearing on that team. Like in terms of the fan base, how they react, how the players react. And the way we ended last season with that semifinal disappointment kind of set the stage for the next season. Plus, on top of the window, I think, Aaron, you set it up perfectly, man. Everyone was so into Sancho, right? We agreed terms of him months in advance. Then Zorc comes out and says, oh, there's a deadline, which we knew the Glazers were never going to meet. Ed Woodward was never going to meet that. And the Van de Beek signing earlier in the window, I think that got everyone on side. I'm like you. I was a big fan of him at Ajax. I thought he could bring a different profile to this team that we didn't have, more of an off-ball player. And then Sancho fell off. We brought in Cavani, who for me, I wasn't totally excited about. Like, this is a guy who was let go of at PSG 6 months earlier. We could have gotten him instead of Igalo, and we didn't. So I was thinking this is just a panic buy to kind of get the fans back on side. Tellez I was excited about because I think most people had kind of been iffy on Shaw the last few seasons. Here comes this new left back who seems to be incredible going forward, so he can maybe give him more competition. But outside of that, man, like I was not excited. I was genuinely fearing that we were going to make top 4. The first few games kind of summed that up, and yeah, I was definitely not as optimistic as you.
Ty, how are you feeling?
Yeah, man. It's great hearing these guys' thoughts actually going last. It kind of plants seeds in your head, but real talk, man. But I think touching on this season, I would have taken top 4. I think if I look at it, so a lot of people didn't really have us in their top 4. So for me, just making the top 4 was imperative. I think the hard part is because we're looking at the start of the season to the end of the season where we're in the final of a competition. Now it feels really disappointing that we didn't win a trophy. But if we were talking at the start of the season, we weren't expecting to maybe be in some of them finals or get into them semi-finals. So how you got to sum it up is we got Martial, Greenwood, and them guys firing 57 or 59 goals between them last season. So I was confident with them 3 going into next season. However, yes, we got Van der Beek. Yes, we got Cavani. But I could ask all you 3 now and say, did we address any of the problems we actually needed? The answer is no. We didn't get a centre-back. We didn't get the right winger. We didn't get the DM. And that's the problems when they're going into this season coming up in August, September. So we've still got the same 3 issues that we didn't have resolved last year. So for me to get top 4 is great. I wasn't that confident going into competitions because we got to think of Liverpool. They didn't have them injuries then. They still had a good squad. Man City, they improved on their squad. They've got a good squad. And Chelsea, let's not get it twisted. Lampard messed up what was already a very good squad. We look at Chelsea's squad. So for me, top 4 is what it is because we didn't repair nothing we needed, man.
Yeah, hearing you lot's thoughts, it definitely echoes a lot of what I was thinking at the beginning of the season. I was thinking we finished 3rd. We had a good season last season where Martial, Rashford, Greenwood towards the end of the season was firing as well. And you're thinking if you take the right steps, if you make some good additions here, like who knows what you could possibly do this season. But then the transfer window, like we're agreeing personal terms with Sancho for months and months and months, and we're just waiting for a deal to be agreed with the club, but nothing happened. Again, centre midfield wasn't addressed, centre back wasn't addressed, and it's just like, well, I expect more of the same now. Like I literally just expect as Ty said, I was happy with top 4 at the beginning of the season because I didn't believe we addressed what we needed to address. But yeah, when you think about it like that,
The thing is, they're not bad signings. When you look at Van der Beek, like I went to Amsterdam and watched him. I think they beat Feyenoord. I think it was Van Persie when he signed for Feyenoord, 2018. But I went and watched him and I love his off-the-ball movement, his third man runs, them Lampard runs. He does stuff that we don't have in our squad. So it's not a bad signing. It just hasn't fitted into our philosophy this year. Cavani, again, obviously very good at Napoli, very good at PSG. Not a bad signing. He guarantees you kind of like 20 goals, assists type of thing when he plays on his day. Obviously, he's had injuries. So they're not bad signings. It's just that they're not the signings we needed. And that's the difference when you want to be competing for titles. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's 100 it. That's 100 it. We could have made proper steps towards being a better team this season, but we didn't address what we needed to address in the summer. We took too long with a lot of deals. We ifed and erred on a lot of deals, and in the end, we pretty much ended up with a very similar squad to the one that we had last year. No major surgery that needed to be done. We're gonna fast forward a little bit. We start off the Champions League campaign so well. What was it? 3 wins in 3, beat PSG away, beat Istanbul, beat Leipzig, give them 5, and then we have then
we have, you know, he just had the pause.
We have to talk about it. We have to talk about it.
Then we have that game. I won't lie to you, boys. When after that game, that's when I fully knew we're not a serious. Like any little bit of pressure, any little bit of we need to secure this result. That's when we really, really fall under the level that we needed. That Istanbul game will go down in history as one of the worst performances I've ever seen. What was your thoughts when you saw that match?
I couldn't believe it, man. I mean, we lost to a team that finished, I think, 13th or 14th in the Turkish competition.
Pretty sure they got relegated.
Did they?
No, they survived in the end. They survived
in the end.
Right. Yeah.
But still, it's just not good enough, man. And you've got to bear in mind, like these guys haven't existed for long. Like a rich owner just came in and just pumped money into the club. That's how they were able to, acquire the likes of Demba Ba and other players that were there. And I think Chadley was playing there at some point as well. So to lose to a team like that, no disrespect, was just embarrassing, to be quite frank
It
with
was the
you.
money laundering scheme. It's
Literally.
disrespectful.
That's
And
literally
we
what
didn't
we
even
did.
have them Turkish fans to put up with.
Literally.
Facts.
We were lucky, Tyrone.
Yeah.
We were lucky that no fans were in the stadium, because if anyone watches football outside of England, you know that
Trust me.
Turkish fans are crazy.
Mm.
Absolutely crazy. You walk into their stadiums, Istanbul, the team that we played, Besiktas, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, these fans they're insane.
Yeah.
They're insane. So we were lucky that their fans weren't in the stadium, and to still go there and lose the way we did, it was
Some
just
of those players
embarrassing.
would have cried. Some of them players would have cried if the fans were in the stadium. I promise you, they would
I
have
don't know
cried.
not even that, bro. In those kind of stadiums, when the fans are in, you can't even hear yourself.
Yeah.
You can't even hear each other. So
They
they
would have
would have
lost
been
their
on the
head.
pitch. They would have been on the pitch trying to communicate with each other, but you can't hear each other because the fans are too loud. So to lose in that way was just completely embarrassing, bro. To be honest with you.
It was their first ever win in the UCL as well.
That was their
According
only
to
win.
us.
They didn't win a single game outside of it.
See,
This club
And it
will
always
actually
happens to
drive
us,
me
you know.
insane. Yeah, this
It always
club will
happens to us.
drive me insane. Laos, what was your thoughts after that match?
I mean, that was kind of the game for me that pointed out, like, yo, this club's squad depth, it's a fugazi. Like, we don't have proper squad depth, because that was the first game we saw Matic and Van de Beek play in a double pivot together.
Mm-hmm.
That idea went out the window quickly. Like, people were talking about Van de Beek, we have to play him deep, we have to play him defenseman. That shit was deaded after that game. It was Henderson, I think it was Henderson, one of his first few games back at the club. But just in general, like, it was just a horror. Like, you remember that goal that they scored where they completely just kicked it from one side of the pitch to the other, and Demba Ba was all by himself.
And
Like,
who was the last man back? Matic, the slowest.
Yeah,
player.
it was the most shambolic
Oh
performance.
my
man. And
god.
that's the moment I knew, like, yo, this team is so reliant on like 3 players, and like if these players are not performing, this is what we are. Like, that game kind of just told me, like, this team is not where it needs to be.
We literally made so many changes to that match, and I was thinking, it's calm, it's Istanbul. Like, yes, it's an away game in the Champions League, but we've got the resources to be able to put these away.
Touched on it, exactly what I was going to say. There's a squad depth, but then there's also too many changes. And if you're Ferguson, right, whoever it is, and you've got one game to secure yourself into the Champions League group, like knockout stages, and you've got Istanbul, why not grasp it with 2 hands? Start your strongest team and bring them off after 60 minutes. And this is where I'm going to go to this, and you lot are going to laugh. We beat Sociedad 4-0 in the first leg, but you still start Bruno in the second leg, but you don't want to play him in this game. I just like, I know we'll get to it, but I'm more Oli Yin, right? But these little things here with experience just show me why I'm never going to be fully convinced, which we'll get into later in the show. But you've got a chance to win and go through in the group stages, and you mess around with a team, but then you want to play quite a strong team when you're falling up against Sociedad. So you've learnt your lesson too late. We messed it up. We knocked ourselves out of the Champions League. I know I've got the pillow here, but I've got a touch in it. We lose the Istanbul game, but then let's get into the PSG game. We were better than them up until like 70th minute, obviously with the Fred situation. And Martial had 2 chances. Cavani had the chip that hit the bar. There were so many nearly moments where on our day, yes, they might have gone in, but the fact is they didn't. And we knocked ourselves out, man. And I think we done it with Villarreal. We don't get beaten. We lose our own games, bruv. That's the truth.
That's the biggest thing about it. We are gonna get into that PSG game, but you just made such a good point. Like, I was even thinking, like, we're gonna go further, but I was thinking in our Europa League run, we're literally the only team left that can beat United. United is the only team that can beat United. I was looking at AC Milan, Granada, Roma, Villarreal. I'm thinking none of these teams are better than us. It's literally only us that can beat United, and we end up doing it all the time. Talking about the PSG match, that match again, it's like Ole likes to choose the Champions League to show he's just so inept at the biggest stages. Fred is running around like a madman, like an absolute nutcase that first 45. Somehow didn't manage to get himself sent off. Every single United fan are on their knees for Fred to be substituted. I was literally on my knees at one point when he came up, when I saw him coming back for the second half. I was like, Ole, please tell me you've made a mistake and you're getting ready to sub him now. What was your thoughts when you saw Fred come back out in the second half of that game?
Fam. I was screaming at my television, like,
bro,
screaming to take this bozo off, bro. Because if you guys remember that game, like, he was lucky to be on in the, like, it should have been a straight red card. I think
straight red card.
Yeah, he headbutted
so much life.
Man, he caught exactly. He caught life, and he's just begging it. That's what the kind of player Fred is. He's chaotic. Like he likes to indulge in these nitty gritty fights, and like it's a catch-22 because our team at times really misses that energy. It misses that combativeness, and that's why Fred plays so much for United. Whether you agree with that or not, I think that's like his role in the team. So you take that off, you miss a lot of that energy. But at the same time, this guy was screaming to be red carded, and it just kept coming over and over. And it's ironic because the one he got red carded for wasn't a red card.
It wasn't a foul
at all. But it was adding up, and that was just like the icing on just such a disappointing night. Ty, I'm not trying to remind you of this, but your boy choked right when it counted. Martial, I think that's the day he lost a lot of this fan base. To be honest,
100,
yeah,
100.
And
a lot of Marshall FC deserted him after that. I can't remember.
That fan base died that night, bro.
Few months.
But I mean, like there was some good stuff to take from that game, man. Like you said, we outplayed them that game, and that was like one of the first times we saw Martial on the left, Cavani on the center, Rashford on the right. That was an amazing front three. Like that front three played very well that night. There were positives to take, but at the end of the day, I think that summed up like when this team is under pressure, when this team needs to win, when the lights are brightest on the biggest stage, they will let you down time and time and time and time again. And that was just a sign of things to come.
Aaron, what was your thoughts on the match, man? Because it was a match that was there for United to win. We had our chances, but we literally just, as Laz said, we literally just fell when we needed to stand up. What was your thoughts about that match?
I think Laz pretty much said it all. The one thing that had to be done was to take off Fred, really and truly. I firmly believe if we take off Fred at halftime, there's an opportunity to win the game. Honestly, there's an opportunity to win the game, and we probably go through. And we're the reason why PSG then have to go to Europa League and play on Thursdays. We would have been the reason why.
Imagine Mbappe and Neymar in the Europa League.
Exactly, and we were all talking about it. We were joking around about it, being like, "Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine?" But in the end, it was us.
It's funny though, because don't you think though, when the group was made, people were there like, "Oh, United ain't getting out of this group." It's weird because obviously the position was in before the Istanbul game, but before the group, a lot of people didn't think we were going to make it out because obviously Leipzig had just made the semi-finals, I think, the year before. Yeah. So it's kind of weird how it pans out with the game weeks because no one thought we were going to go through, but then we were in that position where we've blown it.
Exactly. I was actually like weirdly confident we'd get out of the group. Like I saw PSG and I wasn't mad terrified of them. I saw Leipzig, who were obviously the hipster type of club. Like everybody knows they play such good football, but I wasn't terrified of them either. And then Istanbul was Istanbul. Like I wasn't like I couldn't not see us finishing second.
Yeah, it was a manageable group. Yeah, for sure.
It was a manageable group, but yeah, we managed to make that a very unmanageable situation somehow.
Yeah, sometimes in those kind of games, you just have to make that big call, as a manager. I would have been okay with, because like you guys said, that yellow card, I don't know how we got it. Because it should have been, as soon as I saw the tackle, I said, yeah, that's I mean, what happened? I saw it and I was like, yeah, that's a red. And then the referee walks over, has a look at the VAR, comes back, because he only stood there for like 2 seconds, remember? He went, had a look, and 2 seconds after he made up his mind, I was like, yeah, that's a red. So, and he gives him a yellow, and I'm like,
was it that? Lucky. I can't think, or was it the grab in the face? What was it?
No, it was like a grab.
It was a
headbutt.
Yeah.
And he was very lucky to be on the pitch. And as a manager, sometimes, you just have to go towards that player in question and just be like, listen, you're going to have to take one for the team today because I can't afford to, one, lose this game, and two, I don't want to lose you if you get a red for the next games if we qualify, if we somehow still qualify. So you have to make that, that call in big games like that. And we didn't, and we paid for it. We paid.
100. Sometimes you just, as you said, as a manager, you've got to make those decisions. I don't know how Fred has earned the trust to say, you saw him running around crazy in the first half. I don't see how he earned the trust to say, yeah, I'm definitely not going to make another foul in the second half. And the referee was itching to send him off as well. Yeah, I think he must have knew that he made a mistake. So he was itching to get that one back.
Man. And the worst thing was, after he got that yellow, he carried on. Putting in tackles, tackle here, tackle there. I'm just like, Fred, calm down.
I was literally
the energy levels went up.
Bro, I don't understand it. I don't understand that at all. Big up everybody that's locked inside right now. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the Final Third.
Yes,
We've got
yes.
Ty, we've got Mr. Aaron United, and we've got Laz here. Make sure you're subscribing. We have to finish off on that Champions League note. The Leipzig game in Germany. Hey,
Aaron Wan-Bissaka, you know what he does. He does what he does, man. He never looks behind him. That's what Wan-Bissaka does. When everyone's in front of him, he's cool. When man are making runs behind him like they do off Kyle Walker, forget it.
This. You see that? Yeah, what you just mentioned there, Tyrone. And okay, cool. We blame the players sometimes for their mistakes, but this is where the question comes in about the coaching.
Yep.
What you just mentioned there, Tyrone, against Leipzig. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of games where it happened. Leipzig.
Brighton.
The most recent
Brighton. There was about
Brighton.
6.
That was like 6-7 times. What's his name?
Fulham.
Sully March.
March.
Fulham.
Yep.
There was a recent game where it happened as well.
I think that was Fulham.
I think it was Fulham as well.
It was Fulham. Yeah, Fulham.
No, Fulham twice. Fulham it happened twice. Both games.
Yeah.
It happened last season because, as you mentioned, Sevilla last season. It happened against Sevilla. So my question is, what do you work on in training to prevent that from happening? Because it
100%.
happens time after time after time again. Like, is there no
And it's
way?
not even that. It's also the set plays. It's both of them.
Yeah. Like,
Because
is there no way? Is there no way you can drill into these players' heads to defend corners or set pieces in general? Like, I just don't understand it. What happens in training? What happens?
It's a valid question, man.
Ole said a lot of times, I'm not the tactical coach. Like he's already said he's not literally. He's not the hands-on coach. He's not the one that really does the training sessions like that. I think that's left to more Carrick and McKenna and what's his name? Phelan. So
and I read yesterday, Banksy, that Phelan doesn't even do it either.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, so these men are just doing 5% at training, clearly.
So this is the game for me, man, that like I remember last year before Bruno came in and we kind of switched up and like we looked like a team for once. I was completely all out. And then I saw Bruno's impact on the team. I saw that winning run we went on. I was like, okay, maybe he needs some players to kind of buy into his philosophy. Maybe there's something there. So I kind of bought more into it. Mm-hmm. This game against Leipzig was the day, and to this day, I'm still like completely all out. Like that's the game that settled it for me, because we beat Leipzig. We destroyed Leipzig 5-0 by playing that diamond in midfield. Because when you look at Leipzig, I'll tell you this right now, they don't play with a striker. They have no target man up front. They pack the midfield. They play their two wing backs, and Angelino and I can't remember the other guy. But those guys just fly up the wings. They got no one up front, and they pack the midfield. And we combated that the first game by playing 4 in midfield ourselves. The second game, we played Van de Beek we played Matic and McTominay in midfield.
Yeah.
Bruno didn't play as a midfielder that game. It was Bruno, Greenwood, and Rashford up front. So you have 2 midfielders in there. You played 5 in the back. And you got exposed within 5 minutes. They scored 2 in 5 minutes. And that was the day I decided, like, yo, this Ollie guy, the biggest casual I've ever seen in my life.
It's not Liza's right,
bro,
you know, because
he guesses when he does his formation.
Bro, the thing is, he had the winning formula. We had it the first time. We beat them 5-0.
All you had to do is do the same thing over. Just do the same thing. But instead, he tried to match them. And like Liza said, we got exposed within 5 minutes. And the funniest thing is, you know, obviously you look at Leipzig and you're thinking, okay, who are the main threats? Maybe Sabitzer, maybe
Danny
Olmo, you know, what's the Swedish guy's name? Forsberg, them kind of players. No, it was the left wing back that created all the problems. Angelino was having
we didn't play with any winger. There was no one on that side. It was just Wan-Bissaka and what's his name? Greenwood was playing up front.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, you know what? I don't know. You might think I'm harsh here, but I know, Lies, you speak about we beat Leipzig 5-0, right?
Yeah.
For me, when people say our best performance this season, I don't even look at that, because I actually think up until the 70th minute, Leipzig were better. And I think we only blitzed them when Rashford come on. We had that sort of 15-20 minute spell where this is what Man United do.
But I think the thing is, Ty, I think we had the game more under control. I think that's the biggest thing. Like Leipzig did have periods of possession in that game. They looked like they could score at times, but the game against Leipzig the second time, bro, we were all over the place. They literally
I agree. I don't disagree with you, but I'm just thinking in terms of the way Ollie thought about it. Obviously, Rashford come on, we blitzed him in 15 minutes, but don't forget, 3 days later, We played Arsenal at home, lost 1-0. We played the diamond again because what does Ollie do? Oh, this is worked against Leipzig. It's going to work against Arsenal.
Yeah, it did work.
And then
go.
Arsenal was
That's
one of our
Ollie's
worst
whole bag.
performances.
That's
We
Ollie's.
played Rashford
If
and
something
Greenwood up
works one
front, and I've
time,
never seen us hold the ball
running
up.
it back.
We couldn't do nothing. Gabriel had like the game of his life for Arsenal. We got beat 1-0, but he played the same diamond. So it's weird. It's like horses for courses. So I agree with you in the fact that he should have played the diamond away at Leipzig. But it just shows that Ollie still doesn't know what he's doing because he worked against Leipzig, but then we lose again at home to Arsenal the 3 days after. But no one talks about it because it's a league game.
I want to say one more thing. That game for me, if you guys remember, was the day Pogba's agent came out a few days earlier and kind of like came out saying Pogba will not stay at United. He has no future at United. And the whole fan base was up in arms. Everyone, you had like your Pogba in, Pogba out.
Yeah.
And all the eyes were on Ollie, right? Like, will he play him? Will he not play him? Like, you have to make a statement here. And ultimately, he decided not to play him, which I think we can all agree, right, was a mistake in terms of like footballing in every essence of football. Like, it was a mistake to leave him out. But the biggest problem for me was that he left him out only to bring him on with 30 minutes left to play. And Pogba was the driving force in that game in bringing us back. So what was the point in benching him to begin with, just to bring him on with 30 minutes left? What point did you make?
Ollie was just trying to satisfy the top reds that when you see Raiola talk about Pogba saying, oh, he's going to leave, all the top reds, they get emotional about it. They don't like the fact that we're not the club that we used to be, and clearly top players are looking for a way out. So Ollie had to satisfy these top reds by dropping Pogba, making it seem like, yeah, we can continue without you. We were awful without him, and then you bring him on, and as Lance said, he's the spark. One question I want to ask you, look, kind of going off the Leipzig game, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's been here 2 years now. Obviously, bought him as the raw, like purely defensive weapon, slide tackles everywhere, all of that. But then we've kind of seen him develop in terms of both going forward. We've seen him develop a little bit, but again, defensively, we talk about off the ball. He still has ways to improve there. Is he a long-term right back at United? Do you not feel like there's still more growth for him? What do you not think?
I think personally, yes, but we need a good competition for him. So I won't even go out and buy a right back. I think our right back sitting there, local to me, Milton Keynes, big up Ethan Laird, done very well there. I think he's shown that his ball retention and the way he can dribble and pick a final ball is there. And if Wan-Bissaka is lacking that, then that's when he gives us that option. Wan-Bissaka is obviously his horses for courses. He's great defensively and stuff like that. But I think we've got to be fair to him here. He's come from a Crystal Palace team where he was a winger predominantly. Don't know how when I kind of look at it now. We'll let him ride with that one, innit? He probably had, he probably walked like he had his claps on. Had his plaits, they just put play on the wing. But defensively,
he's a winger like
we know how
winger,
good he is. Defensively, we know how good he is. But going forward, I think we've seen him improve this season. However, what we've got to remember here is we're Manchester United, and we've been playing without a proper right winger for how many years now? 5 years maybe. Forget Antonio Valencia because he started going right back. So since then, I think until we see him having a regular partner like Luke Shaw and Rashford, a bit of their link up, then we'll give Wan-Bissaka his dues and be able to see what he's really about. So he'll get more space. Right now, he's playing with James, then he's playing with Greenwood, then Diallo's getting a little run out. He's not building no chemistry. So literally every game, he's just under constant pressure, which he would be at Man United. But for me, we stick with him and bring Ethan Laird back. And let's give this guy a go, man. He's got the mentality.
I agree. I think we need some competition in there because a lot of players in our squad actually improve because there's competition coming in and they know there's a possibility, for them to lose their spot. It's happened with Luke Shaw. Tellers came in, improved. I mean, it happened before even Tellers came in. Remember when Brandon Williams started to get games at left back? All of a sudden, Luke Shaw improved. And to be fair, in my opinion, if an academy graduate has to come through to give you competition for you to improve, it's a bit questionable. But that's a story for another day. So I think for Wan-Bissaka, someone like Ethan Laird will bring in positive competition. Healthy competition, and it could only improve him. And I feel like
Aaron, can I ask you, are you in preference of signing a right back, or are you in preference of bringing Laird back if you had a choice?
If I had the choice, I would obviously sign a right back, but I know these owners ain't going to do that. So
would you take Trippier? Don't do it. Don't do it.
Nah,
we saw him get torn apart.
Good. Okay. Yeah.
I wouldn't. No. I wouldn't.
Okay.
But people are going to say, but he's delivery. Yeah, but we got people in the squad that can deliver a ball properly. We got Tellez, we got Bruno, like they can do that. So I'd bring back Ethan Laird. or even Dallo, to be fair, to give Wan-Bissaka some competition. See, you lot forgot that we still had it.
I was trying to forget.
I was sleeping on that one, boy.
I thought you said Diallo for a second. I was like, huh? Diallo, right?
No,
Yeah.
yeah, man. Dallo, he still belongs to us, man, unless he wants to stay in Milan.
I don't think Milan wants him to stay in Milan.
So yeah, if he comes back, well, when he comes back, that'll be good competition for Wan-Bissaka as well. And I think for other people in the squad, that could be healthy too. You know, some competition. I think as much as he's scored a lot of goals, I think Rashford desperately needs some competition because he needs to wake up, man. He needs to wake up, and obviously now he's made the England squad, but
I was hoping he wouldn't go, man.
Yeah,
what does that mean? I was hoping he wouldn't go. I was hoping
what does that mean now for his injuries, and because we don't know what's going to happen now, because now all of a sudden he's ready to go and go again. But after the Europa League final when we lost, he was there giving interviews and talk about how you played through the season with injuries. Now all of a sudden you're fit again to play for England.
And Greenwood pulled out, and Greenwood's not had a knock for ages. So
there you go. So I don't know, but yeah, in terms of the right back situation, I would bring in some competition for Wan-Bissaka because I feel like he's been here for 2 years, and as much as he's done okay, in my opinion, I feel like it's time to improve now, because your third year, we shouldn't be talking about he still doesn't do this well, he still doesn't do this well, and that. Part of it's down to coaching, obviously, but I feel like on a personal level, he has to improve a bit more.
Yeah. It's hard, man. I wonder how many games he's played, you know, because like Aaron said, the competition, like Dallo is going to unknown. Wan-Bissaka is one of them ones that plays like every game. So
he's played the most outfield games in Europe this season.
There you go.
Wow,
and like 23 years old, man, we're going to burn him out. He needs something, man.
Yeah, true.
Literally, him and Maguire, every game that they're fit, they usually play.
Yeah.
Mad.
Allows quick thoughts on Wan-Bissaka, in or out, shake all about.
I don't know, man. I'm torn on this guy because I watch a lot of like European football, and one thing everyone knows is that the modern day game requires a fullback who is extremely adept at going up and down the wings and delivering great service and combining with attackers. Like you look at City has Cancelo, Zinchenko, Walker. You look at Trent and Robertson. They're the biggest chance creators at Liverpool, and obviously they play a different system to other teams, but when you look at all the production we've gotten from Luke Shaw on one side, I feel like you look at Wan-Bissaka on the other, and that final against Villarreal for me sums it up. They completely allowed him like as much space as he wanted. Like they basically told him, come beat us yourself. Like we will defend everyone extremely well. Once the ball goes out to Wan-Bissaka, do your thing. Like whatever happens, it happens. And I think that's a huge problem. And like I definitely agree with Ty, who's saying like, yo, you get a winger, you get Sancho, you get someone on that right-hand side to kind of take the burden off of him. He won't have as much responsibility. We won't have to see some of these like bozo plays at times where the guy looks like he's just like doing pirouettes in a circle. But at the same time, I think it also has to come within him. Like he needs to improve offensively. Otherwise, we are always going to be extremely handicapped coming from that side. Like Sancho, we can talk about all the great stuff we want about him. His best production last year came when Hakimi was on that side combining with him, because Sancho is not a guy who like just runs up players. Like he likes to combine with players too. This guy's going to have to combine with Wan-Bissaka on that side. So he's going to have to step up his game offensively. We already talked defensively, one-on-one. There's no one better than him. But he also needs to improve his awareness, his positioning, his focus at times, because sometimes you'll see him at like halfway, like just jogging backwards. So for me, he definitely needs to improve.
Can be so frustrating at points. Yeah. He can be so low intensity sometimes.
Bro, and that's the thing. Like some players will get stick for it. He always seems to get away with it. But my point is, whether it's Ethan Laird, whether it's buying a Kieran Trippier for like 10 million and just like giving him competition, maybe playing him in games that Wan-Bissaka doesn't, something needs to improve in that right back position. So whether it's from him, whether it's from someone else, it needs to improve.
Someone said that we paid English tax on England's 8th choice right back, and my head has been.
That was me, actually.
It was you.
I don't even think he's ever going to play for England. To be fair,
my head.
I don't think.
When I read that, I was just like, we actually paid £50 million for brother, and he's never going to play for England.
Okay, bro.
Yeah, wow. Like, I said it many times. Like, if he doesn't make the Euro squad, then you should just think about playing for Congo.
Declare for Congo.
Yeah, he should be on Congo. Him and Yannick Bolasie linking up and that.
Exactly. So Bolasie, pick up your phone and call Wan-Bissaka, because it's not going to work for England.
Yeah, hell no.
Honestly,
it took 4 right backs. He didn't even make it. It's crazy.
Yes,
4 right. Yeah,
that's literally it.
Wan-Bissaka, go call up the DRC FA, please. We need to get you to international football, man. Next thing I want to talk about, December, January. We're riding high. We found some form. We found a bit of consistency in terms of results. Maybe not performances, but we found consistency in terms of results. We're at the top of the table. I believe we played a game more than City at that point, but we were still technically top of the table. Did you ever believe that possibly 21 and 21, or was you lot a bit more pessimistic? What was you lot thinking in December, January times?
Honestly, I believe it was possible. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this season was a season of transition, for a lot of teams. City were going through their struggles. They had no strike, basically played the whole season without striker. Lost a lot of games at the start of the season. Chelsea, new manager, they had to gel with Lampard. Liverpool, they were going through a madness as well. A lot of injuries, Van Dijk, all the centre-backs out. And then they went through that period where they lost 6 home games in a row. That little period was the perfect opportunity for us to take advantage and go clear. Yes. Just try and win all of the games that we had at that point and try and go clear. But instead, I always say that this season, 2020, 2021, in the normal games, let's say, without disrespecting the smaller teams, we look like lions, but in the big games, we look like cats. If all the big games that we played it safe. Yeah. Shout out to the ice cream truck. Always,
I love that. Free ice creams on Monday.
Always coming true when I'm filming, So yeah, I feel like that period was perfect for us to take advantage and go clear. I think we were clear of Man City. I don't know how many points. I can't remember.
I think we were top by 3 points, but with a game in hand.
I think it was the one where Pogba scored the volley against Burnley, and then everyone started believing a little bit.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. So that was the perfect opportunity for us to go clear even more and try and create that gap with Man City. But instead, I don't know. Like I said, in the big games, we tried to play it safe way too many times. Arsenal at home, we lost. Arsenal away, tried to play it safe. We drew. Liverpool away tried to play it safe. We drew because we played Pogba on the right hand side because he wanted Pogba to do a job on Robertson. We went to City away. Thankfully, we won. City at home played it safe. Chelsea at home played it safe. Draws. Yep. Chelsea away played it safe. I think we drew as well. So many draws that we had this season that we could have converted into wins that could have created that gap. I think we went through a period of three draws in a row with no shots on target. That one killed me.
Didn't even know that one, boy. Oh.
I think it was Chelsea, Palace, and someone else, but I forgot.
Crikey.
I think the Spurs game early on in the season just scarred Oli for life in terms.
That was
that's the day he dismantled Pogba for good.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah. You will have games like that in your managerial career, where you're just going to get slapped, and it happens. It happened to Sir Alex, and the thing is, with Sir Alex, because Ollie always talks about Fergie and the boss and this, and the boss did this and the boss did that. What the boss also did was take risks. Sometimes you have to take risks. And Sir Alex Ferguson, in that little snippet he was talking about in the snippet of his movie, he was talking about how with 15 minutes to go in a game, he just took a risk and just threw all the attacking players on the pitch because he's got nothing to lose. When you're 1-0 down, you've got 15 minutes to go, just throw in all your attacking players because they will make it happen. They will try and score to win the game. Even if whether it's 1-0, whether it's 1-1, whatever it is, if you make risks and try and win the game, the fans will appreciate that. I always say, in 2011, when we got embarrassed by City 6-1 at home, we didn't lose 6-1 because we were bad. We lost 6-1 because we were down to 10 men. There was about 15 minutes to go. We threw everything at City, and then they counted 3 times and scored 3 more goals to make it 6. That's why we lost. So I don't know, man. And then we play against Leicester, 3-2 down. A few minutes to go, 10 minutes to go. Bring on an attacking player. Bring on someone that's going to try and score. But instead, he brings on Matic to do what? Steady the ship. Those are the kind.
15 minutes against Villarreal, he takes off Pogba for Dan James. That's the risks we take.
Do you see what I mean? There's so many questionable things that we've done this
season.
season.
Up my PTSD.
So many things that we could have done this season to avoid either losses or to avoid draws.
Yours facts, man. Even when I look at it like the Eric Bailly game, I think where he done a block from Aston Villa, Keelan Davis laughing it, and the players are huddling like we'd won the league. Of course, we hadn't, but that was a big turning point. And for me, I think that's the moment that made me really believe. But for me, if you ask me, January, December, it was going to come down to two things. It was either, like Aaron said, City and Liverpool not picking up their form, and us keeping Pogba and Bailly fit. When we went through that spell, I think we won 4 games in 12 days. Bailly played 3 games out of that in that 9-day spell. He never normally does that. He was man of the match in 2 of them, colossal. He was a monster alongside Maguire. But I think as soon as Pogba got injured, and he did, we just fell off. We had a couple results. Look at the Sheffield United one at home. Like, I know we can make as many excuses with the handball and Martial's goal should have stood when Maguire got penalised and all that. But still, we had 90+ minutes to score against Sheffield United. We didn't do it. Right. So for me, it was the combination of when Pogba and Bailly went. I just feel like, I don't know. It just went. Something like they bring that, even though people say vibes and all that, they've got that personality. Bailly put his neck on the line like that block. Pogba, we know we can create something out of nothing. We just lose still, and we lose creativity. And putting them two together, the results fell off, man.
Yeah. For me, that period, like you're asking, like, did I think I could ever win the league? I didn't think so, because like I just didn't trust this team. I didn't trust the manager. But I did say, like I said numerous times in videos, there's 3 things that we need to do that can give us like a damn good chance at winning the league. One of them was what Aaron said. Ollie has to start taking risks. He has to stop changing his game. Like, when you say risks, like Fergie changes something for 1 game, Ollie changes it, but in a bad way. So like we had that 4-game great spell, and then we go to Liverpool off the back of like 5 wins in a row. And like you said, you put Pogba on the right, you play McFred in the middle. You're playing Lindelof, who's obviously a more back-footed defender than Bailly. Like, it was just screaming that, look, we're here for a draw. If we can nick a win, perhaps. When clearly Liverpool were playing Phillips and Williams in the back, they were reeling off three losses in a row. Like, it was clear that we could have got something from that game. And you saw that time and time again this season in big games. Ollie changes it up. He plays conservative. He plays for a point. Let's try and nick a win. And you can't win league titles like that, especially when your record against the small teams is not immaculate like a City would or a Liverpool would. So that was the first thing. Never happened. The second thing I said was that we needed more goals from different places, because there was a point in the season where if we scored a goal, it was Bruno or Rashford, no one else. Yeah. I said we need to get goals from Cavani, Martial, Greenwood, Pogba. And there were a few people who stepped in and gave us some goals. Pogba had big goals and big moments. Martial, we already talked about him. Cavani, more towards the end of the season, he kind of stepped up. Same with Greenwood. So the lack of goals in this team, for me, is what really hurt us this season, which is crazy to think, because last year we had Martial, Rashford, Greenwood, 50-something goals combined.
Yeah.
So that change in fortune from those 3 really hurt us. And then the third thing was, like, we needed to get a defensive midfielder in the winter. And for me, like, I'm a huge critic of McFred, and I understand why they played, because I don't think there's a good enough combination out of the other guys that can really match what they provide. But that's, for me, why I said we needed a Bruno-esque signing in that center of the pitch. It didn't come, which obviously makes sense, right? It's tough to get those players in January, whether Ollie even wants one or not. But that kind of added up, man. Like, we were never going to win the league with these many major holes in effect. And then you add the fact that City went on a run of 22, 23 games that is unprecedented. Like, you can't match that.
I think that's the scariest part about our centre midfield right now, is the fact that I don't know whether Ollie thinks our centre midfield is a problem. I don't know whether Ollie wants to address that in the summer. That's the scary part for me personally. Because if he feels like McFred is working and McFred can take us to a title, then it's literally just going to get spookier and spookier next season. I've got a very special guest. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in right now. We've got another special guest to introduce. My guy, Flawless Mr. Tate. No.
Yes. MC Flawless, Yana.
Yeah, so you might saying
go.
Everyone good. What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Big up.
Yeah, man.
How we feeling?
Yeah, I'm good still. Can't complain. You know what I'm saying? And minus Manchester United, everything's blessed. You know what I'm saying?
You've got the gold on today, man. You've got the gold on today.
Man. Yeah, serious said it feels good when United ain't ruining your week or weekend. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. We got the Euros to look forward to. Everyone's talking about England. So yeah, man, it's calm in it. But yeah, man, I'm blessed. Love for having me. You get me? Appreciate it.
100. Thank you for coming on, man. I'm going to drop you right in the deep end. We're talking little winning run in December, January times when we was top of the league. Ask these lot, did you ever feel like during that time we'd win the league? I want to know your thoughts on that. Did you ever feel like during that time you could possibly nick it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Aaron knows me well enough. Me and Aaron did many streams during that period, and I always said from the jump, yes, I'm going to run the banter and run the whole 21 and 21, and I'm going to ride this till the wheels fall off because I know what's going to happen. I wanted to be wrong. I knew we weren't going to win no league title. Nobody believed we could win a league title. It doesn't matter if he was a Manchester United fan. I was talking to rival fans. Nobody could say, yeah, we're legitimately in this night. There was a legit attempt or legit realism on it. So, yeah, that's how I looked at it. Yeah, I was just in it for the banter. It was all well and good singing 21 and 21, tweeting good night to everyone who was top of the league. All that.
I remember. I was to say that you've done that for a minute.
That feels like a million years
Every
ago,
night,
man.
I'll just be like, see
It was
that
fun.
tweet
It
pop
was
up.
fun.
It was
David
I feel like
Just.
when you haven't had a title run or a proper title push in so long, you just gotta enjoy these moments. Like,
enjoy it, man.
Bro,
you-
literally, I took a picture when we first went top of the league. I took a picture of my TV with the Premier League table on it, and I hugged my TV, bro. Like,
Yeah, I remember that. I remember.
It was fun. You know what I mean?
It was fun. Yes. It was
I
fun.
remember
we all saw the
COVID to come and
we
just
saw the
drop the league.
performances. We saw the performances, and like a lot of those games, we were just about getting by. Fulham, Aston Villa, Wolves, like we were just about getting by. But we were winning the games, and we were top, and it was fun to be top. This is why I need United to be a good. We look how shameless we were for 1 month of good form. Imagine United's a good team again. Imagine United ever becomes a good team again. We will be unstoppable.
If United ever became a good team again, I'm on shameless smoke. And United are dead.
Bro.
Imagine we actually were good in that. Like I said, I
Like,
ran that whole
hey.
good night. I was scheduling tweets for when we wake up, like good morning to everyone who's top of the league, because I knew it wasn't going to last long. It was even shorter than I expected it to be. Cause I thought it'd be a little bit longer, but we hadn't been top of the league in 8 years. It was 8 years.
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
like Aaron said, yo, we hugged this TV and that man are out here hugging electronics. That's how
We've
TV
never,
was.
we've never been good in the social media era. Like we've never been good
It's
while Twitter was
peace.
popping.
Literally.
Yes.
It's
that's
so
facts.
deep.
Oh my
That is
God.
facts.
so
That is,
peak.
but our
See,
fan
the-
base
the-
is so shameless is that you would think we're good. If someone blanked
Literally.
out the table and said, yo, where are United and Arsenal? You would think we're still competing for titles, innit? Because that's all we got
Oh
left.
my God.
That's all we
what
got
you
left.
think. Oh man, United.
All we got
please
now
be
is that
good
history,
again.
man.
We're becoming. It's sad to see us become what we cost Liverpool for. So what is it? 8 years now without a title. Once
8
it
years,
once it
bro.
hits that decade,
They won 30. Relax.
Yeah, no, but you know what? No,
It's
you know why he's right. I said the same thing. I said at some point, I don't want to become the next Liverpool and still and in 10 years talk about, oh, remember when we won the Champions League in 2008? No, I don't want to become that fan. Do you know what I mean? And obviously now we've gone a season, we haven't won anything. And I don't follow the Manchester United Twitter account, but someone else quote tweeted what they posted, and they posted a picture of Rooney and Ronaldo, and the caption was "Your favorites duo, and I'm just like, really? Like Ronaldo left like a decade ago.
Yeah, they're
more than a
clinging on,
decade
man.
ago. They're
It's
clinging on
mad
to
as
this.
well, yeah.
Like,
Do you know what I find mad though? Even when Aaron says that, we won trophies, obviously like the Europa League and like in between, but because we hated Mourinho, I don't know, I hated him, but the football weren't even
I
fun.
definitely did.
Exactly. Mourinho, we hated him. Van Gaal won trophies, we hated him. So like for us, it feels like the last proper trophy we won was back then because we didn't really like them managers anyway. So it's been
didn't
even
like
with
them.
we've won
Oli.
stuff, we're not happy.
if Ole ever
still-
takes us to the promised land, sorry to cut you off, but Ole's a likable enough guy that I'd actually enjoy seeing him win. Like he's a bit of a bozo.
Yeah, I
but he's
actually
good
want to
vibes.
see him win.
I want to see him do well. He's good
The thing
vibes,
of-
but he's just a bozo.
The thing with Oli is, I want him to prove me wrong. I really want him to prove me wrong.
I
Like,
really
every
want him
time,
to.
every time there is an important game for him to prove me wrong, he does exactly what I predict. Every single time. I predicted that in the final of the Europa League, we're not going to see a change until the 80th minute. And it went until the 100th.
You proved me wrong.
That
Aaron, you was 20 minutes off, man. You was 20 minutes off.
Yeah,
You said
did him
80,
so.
like
Yeah,
100.
did him so.
It was in
I'm
100th,
guessing. I
bro,
bet
like-
Banks is going to get into that one because we've got to talk about that final.
Yeah,
boy.
we're 100%
Oh my
getting into
God.
the final. One thing I do want to talk about before we get into the final, the Glazer out protest. We all saw them. We saw Mr. Aaron United take that. Mr. Tate note.
Take
there
that,
as
you
well.
know.
I'm literally saying, my bad.
Man's going to start singing on the podcast.
Yes,
But yeah,
yeah.
I'd love for, since both of you were there, I'd love for one of you to explain to the people watching why Manchester United fans protested and what we wanted to hopefully get out of the protests.
I'll let you take it away, Aaron.
Yeah, so I went to, because there was 2 protests. I went to the first one, and Flawless went to he went to both. But just to make it clear, he wasn't one of those people that went into the stadium.
I wasn't on the pitch show, innit? I wasn't on the pitch show.
Because people were saying, yo, Flawless on the pitch, I ain't doing bicycle kicks. No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
I wasn't on the pitch. No.
So I went to the first one, and the first one was pretty cool, man, to be honest. We all gathered outside the stadium, and yeah, basically just made it clear and let the world know, like, we're not effing with these Glazers, man, because they've just been destroying the club ever since they came in. And I think people have recently seen how much they really don't care. I think we've all seen the footage of him being, I think he was in Miami, and that reporter was following him and she was asking him questions and he just ignored it, didn't say nothing, jumped into his Tesla and then just drove off. So it's clear to see that they don't care. And I know they come out with, I think Joe Glazer came out with an open letter to United fans. BS, he doesn't care. And then obviously they're trying to create this fan forum. I think it's happening on the 6th of June, if I'm not wrong. Again, don't fall for it, because these guys are just trying to be on our side again. They're doing everything they can to be on our side again. So the first protest was pretty peaceful. It was nice. No, the police was there, but they didn't have to intervene or nothing. So it was a good experience, man. And I think it was a nice way to make the owners and everyone in the world know that we don't like them. Not just because of the whole Super League thing, but just because they've done so many bad things over the years, man. They've mismanaged the club in a way I can't even start to explain. So yeah, and obviously the second one, the whole madness went down with, fans breaking into the stadium and stuff. And listen, I can't blame the fans for doing that. What I will blame them for is the whole damaging of equipment. And we saw the guy throw the camera on the floor. Like, don't do that, man. And listen, if you're gonna do that, at least put a mask on, bro. Your face is on television, bro. You know what I mean? You're just looking stupid. Your kids are gonna watch you on Sky Sports, bruv. Like, your kids are gonna watch you on TV, asking you, "Daddy, is that you?" What are you gonna tell them? What are you gonna tell them? But yeah, you can't blame the fans for doing that, because the anger's just through the roof at the moment. So, but what there's no roof
at Old Trafford at the moment.
I mean, the roof that we got is leaking, flipping out. They can't even manage to fix that. But yeah. Anyway, what I wanted to say as well is the second protest, what I was happy about, is that we got the game called off against Liverpool, biggest game in England. Like in terms of TV and advertisement, I know for a fact there was a lot of money lost on that day. Yeah, and if we can carry that on, that's the greatest thing to do. And after that, put pressure on the sponsors. Because we got a new sponsor for next season. I think it's Team Viewer, our new front sponsor. People left bad reviews on their pages and stuff. Keep doing that, because that forced AON to pull out of business with Manchester United. If we can carry on doing that, just make them lose money and they will leave. Honestly, make them lose money. And I'm not talking about the ticket sales, because I can refuse a season ticket today, but there'll be someone else from around the world that will gladly accept that season ticket. Do you see what I mean? So if we can target the sponsors, if we can target the people that Manchester United work with, and small things like, and we did calculations on the other day on my channel with Flawless, and something like, if everyone goes to the stadium and buys, the Manchester United pies and the drinks, and, I mean, a package of a drink, a pie, and a packet of crisps, potato chips for Liz. A package of that is $12.99, bro. Do you know how expensive?
Times that by how many man are there? 60,000, 70,000.
Exactly. You're going towards 500k on one match day just by selling pies and drinks. If everyone goes to the stadium and doesn't buy, you're making them lose 500k. If everyone stops buying the merch, you're making them lose money. If everyone stops being associated with the what's it called, the sponsors, they're losing money. Adidas are already threatening them to start winning stuff, or else they're going to pull out. Don't win stuff. Like, if you start asking me, Man United, I don't want them to win stuff, because I want these sponsors to pull out. I want the Glazers to lose money so that they can go. When we were close to relegation, I said it with my chest. The best thing that can happen to this club is for us to get relegated, because at least then we can start from scratch with someone that actually cares about the club. And I know it sounds very harsh, because I know if Manchester United get relegated, that's national news. But bro, Like sometimes minor setback for a major comeback. Do you see what I mean? So I said that at the time. It's harsh, but sometimes you have to be willing to take that L to come back and take and have that W. So in terms of the sponsors, we have to boycott them to the fullest. And one thing that I saw at the second protest, which was funny, was you have these brain dead United fans that will go to the stadium, hold up signs and of boycotting the sponsors and have green and gold scarves.
Yeah, they're wearing the clothes.
You're wearing the United shirt where it's got the big ass Chevrolet sponsor on at the front. Like, come on, man, use your brain, use common sense. Do you see what I mean?
I
If
was
you're
going
gonna
to
go
ask
to
you
the
something, Aaron,
protest,
if you don't mind me asking you as well, actually. Because Banksy, sorry to jump in, but because obviously I know Flawless and Aaron live up north, yeah. So with this, I'm not trying to divert this to Black Lives Matter, of course not. But I went to like the Black Lives Matter protests in London and all that mad. But then obviously you see now protests have kind of died out, or the protests are not publicised as much. Do you feel like the fans up there in Manchester, the vibe that this is going to carry on into next season? Because we don't want to have a good summer, right? We signed Sancho, we signed Varane, and then everything's hunky-dory. These players, we win our first 3 games, yeah, imagine. And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like, oh, we've won our games, so everything's been put to the side. Or do you think this is going to carry on into the next season? What's the vibe up there?
I don't think it's going to carry on, bro, to be honest with
nor
you.
do I.
Because it happened with Bruno before. Before we signed Bruno, remember there was a game where we was meant to have a walkout, and it was the Wolves game. Yeah. In the 67th minute, because I went to that game, I think it was the 67th minute we were meant to have a walkout because obviously the whole Glazer situation, etc., etc. We signed Bruno on deadline day in January. His first appearance is obviously against Wolves. So what does everyone do? 67th minute, everyone just looks at each other. Nobody went out.
No, we're staying.
A few people went out, but not a lot. So I feel like if we get Sancho, if we get centre back, and if we get a DM in, the whole Glazer talk is going to stop. That's
Trust
what
me.
I feel.
I'm glad you kind of said it, because that's how I would have answered it if you asked me and I was thinking I wanted to see what you think. But Flawless, I don't know what you think.
It's one of them. It depends on, because our fan base is very reactionary, and not the whole fan base, but we talked about what Aaron was talking about there in terms of signing. Say it happened with Bruno if we do get Sancho, but all it takes, what we're forgetting about is fans being back in the stadium. That's a major part, because we played. Who did we play? We played someone recently, and the fans were shouting, "Attack, attack, attack!" Yeah. And the fans are, and I've been saying this for the longest. It's all well and good not having fans there, and we're playing that terrible football and the 3-0 draws in a row, not creating big chances, no attacking mentality. Once there's 50 to 60,000 Manchester United fans back watching that week in, week out, away days to London when it's cold, it's wet, them cold Tuesday nights at Turf Moor and that, watching that crap. Fan bases are gonna be on top with it. And then once fan bases start chanting in the stadium, now it's a talking point on mainstream TV. So it's a talking point on BTs and the Skies. It's not so much a talking point on the platforms we're on or just on social media. Now it's a bigger talking point, and that can turn 100%. And that Van Gaal, that was a big issue with Van Gaal's era as well, and Mourinho's.
And I'll tell you what, there was a recent game where it actually did happen as well. It was the final of the Europa League. I don't know at one point if you could hear the fans. The fans were shouting, "Attack, attack, attack."
I say as well.
Flawless was right, because a lot of people were getting on to me and Flawless and other people that we do videos with, and I'm sure you guys as well. You guys were being criticised for your views on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's football.
Getting blamed for results, isn't it? Like we picked the team.
A lot of people
we picked the team, you know.
Exactly. A lot of people were criticising us, but I always said, and this was back when lockdown was still like very fresh, and I was like, you're saying this because you're in lockdown now, and you're watching it on TV, so it's not affecting you. You can't tell me that you're going to go to Old Trafford for a whole season and watch this crap. There's no way you're going to spend your money to go to the stadium, buy pies and drinks for your kids that you probably bring with you, spend money on fuel for your car, pay for parking to watch this dross. No way. No way you're going to be happy. No way.
100%.
Last thing I want to ask on the Glazer protest, you pretty much kind of answered this question, but is there any way for the Glazers to reconcile with the fans? Is there any way you could envision the Glazers staying and working court? No way.
Nope. No way.
That bridge is burned, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. All right, we're gonna fast forward a little bit. We've gone. Let's go to the end of the season. We've had a decent end to the season. We've won our last couple of games, managed to secure second in the end, even though the last couple of games were a bit shaky, and we're at the Europa League final. All right, let's get into it, boys. Hey, I promise you. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So first thing I want to ask: Europa League final, was it a choke job from the players, or was it a choke job from Oli?
Both.
Both.
Both of them are some cowards, man. And I've been after Ollie all season, so of course I'm not gonna stop now. But yo, a lot of those players, I'm looking at Bruno, I'm looking at Pogba, I'm looking at Rashford. Big players are supposed to step up in big games, and we've seen throughout the season. People have talked about Bruno's big game woes. People have talked about Rashford's consistency, but we bought these players to perform in big moments. And this was it. Like Villarreal, like we're talking about the Europa League. We have a better team than every single team in this competition. We have more money than every single team in this competition. We should have a better manager than every single team in this competition. And for your three best players to not turn up, right? Like the tactics can be poor. They've been poor throughout the season. But your players have to show up when it counts. And not one of them showed up. Like our best player in the final was Scott McTominay. Who
shout out to Greenwood as well, because he tried as well. But yeah,
Greenwood did okay as well. But like my point is, like you pay big bucks for Rashford. Obviously, Rashford's homegrown, but Pogba and Bruno and Rashford are your main players. Villarreal does not have a single player on their team worth that caliber of player. So when it matters most, they need to show up. But onto the team that was selected, I thought Pogba and McTominay, for me, I've never been a fan of those two together. I don't think it works. I mean, I know it doesn't work. We've seen it so many times fail. And to choose them for your biggest game of the season, foolish from Ollie. The fact that we didn't get changes until the 100th minute. I mean, it was obvious he was playing for penalties. We go to penalties, and he leaves the worst penalty saver on the planet to go into a penalty shootout. Literally. Doesn't save any of them.
This is it right here. This is it right here. You make so many substitutions for penalties,
and you didn't do the biggest one.
The goalkeeper that saved I think 5 of his last 6 penalties.
8 out of his last 19.
8 out of his last 19.
De Gea, I think, hasn't seen the penalty 36.
No, Henderson.
Oh, Henderson. Okay.
Henderson,
I don't think he saved the penalties. It's Leighton Baines.
For me, it's not even about Henderson. It's the fact that, you could have anyone in goal with 2 functioning hands. They would be a better penalty saver than David De Gea.
People were getting onto me saying, like, I should expect, it's wrong for me to expect De Gea to save him. He's got shot at 11 times and he only got close to 1 penalty.
Bro, not even when he dies like half-heartedly, like, oh, I'm kind of making an effort, you man at yard, but I'm really not. Like,
bro, it's just like, you're not even getting, like, did you do any homework? Did you do any research?
He didn't even like wave his hands, do the jersey, like he didn't do anything.
He didn't do I'll be honest with you, my boy works for the Athletic, and he said that De Gea didn't follow the instructions given to him.
Bozo.
He works for EA's up there.
Who gave him the instructions? Well, Ollie gave him instructions.
From the penalty instructions, and there's a list, and he didn't go the way that he was given. He just done his own thing.
Who wouldn't have seen it?
He was just using vibes.
He was just trying to chat to them in Spanish.
That's what United are, man. We are cardio and vibes, man. That's what we do in training and that. You get me? Cardio and vibes, as my bro Tuck says. That's us. You get what I'm saying? And that, like, that sums up Manchester United. Like, hearing that De Gea didn't follow instructions makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, you couldn't have told one of the players to give him instructions and that after they took the penalty or something like that. There's easy ways around. But the reason why that's also on Ollie as well, Henderson's supposed to be your number 1. Play him in the final. I'm not saying Henderson's better than De Gea. What I'm saying is this is the guy you've made number 1. Stand with your mans. This is your guy. You've said he's number 1. You brought him back. You've helped bring him this bumper deal. So why not play him in the European final? And then maybe Henderson saves one. And
you know what's funny about that too? Last year in the FA Cup semi-final, he dropped Romero for De Gea. And that was like a big thing. Like Romero has not played for United since. Like he was completely insulted by it. He wanted to transfer in the summer. We didn't give it to him. But he played supposedly his best keeper for that game. Now in this game, he wants to show sentiment. He wants to give David De Gea, oh, he's my cup keeper, so he's going to play. But the energy is just not the same. For one guy, it's this. For the other guy, it's that. But back to what I was saying, like, I mean, it went to penalties, but the fact that we registered, 1 shot on target in 120 minutes against Villarreal, who are 7th place in La Liga.
Embarrassing.
It's just not good enough, man. And I've been pessimistic for a while about these guys, but even me in my most pessimistic, I don't know even what the word is, but like I never imagined us losing to Villarreal ever.
I couldn't. But I couldn't see it.
You know what annoyed me the most, Laz, yeah? it's not even the way that we lost the game. Because, you know, with penalties, I'm not going to criticize De Gea for missing the penalty because first of all, that's not his job.
Yep.
If I'm going to criticize De Gea, I'm going to criticize him on not saving the penalties, but not
Yep.
on taking them. So let's get out that off the table first.
Yep.
So we should have won the game within 90 minutes. Forget 120. Within 90, we should have won that game because man for man, he did the same with Kepa and everything. Yeah, exactly. So man for man, we had a better team, but there were players out there in the Villarreal team that just bossed the game, bro. Parejo was looking like, bro, he looks like a university student who studies architecture or something. And he was running the game.
Even Capoue, bro. I saw him body McTominay, and I was like, he was like, get off. And
you know what Parejo looked like,
mean?
actually? He looked like Banega from last season.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the
Exactly.
Great
yeah.
shot.
And what annoyed me the most was, okay, we lost the game. Fair enough. Cool. In life, you'll lose games. You'll win games, lose games. You'll lose finals. It happens. But what annoyed me was after the game, all the press conferences and the interviews. No, we're in the right direction. Like, you're talking too much for losing. Like, for someone who just lost the final, you're talking way too much. Way too much.
That's always been my.
If after losing the European Cup final, your first thought is to go on social media and tweet, we go again, and tweet, we will be back, and tweet this. Don't do that. Show us on the pitch that you're sorry. Don't tweet me that you're sorry because I don't care about social media like that. Go on the pitch, yeah. If we go to another final next year, show us on the pitch that you're sorry.
The one that annoyed me the most, was Rashford. Rashford came out in his interview and was talking about, like, we have a good team, we're going in the right direction, we have everything. We just need to show it. When are you supposed to show it if it's not in a final?
Exactly, because you said it last year when you lost to Sevilla. Yep. So you told us then that you're going to go again. Yep. So did you really go again this season? And the thing is, Rashford was talking about that, Glazer, and he was pointing out his injuries. Oh, I had an injury at my shoulder. I was playing with injuries all season. Don't talk about that. Don't make the whole.
Because you're still going to go on the Euro plane.
Exactly. Yep. So where do the injuries come in place then if you're still going to play the Euros? Like, there's this whole thing with Manchester United, players, certain Manchester United players, especially when we lose, accountability, man. Just admit that today was just not good enough, Admit that losing a final as a Manchester United player is not good enough, it's not acceptable, and you're sorry to the fans. Say that and I'll be cool with it, but don't come with these, we go again and this. No, don't do that, man. Don't do it, because you're just making yourself look silly, if anything.
If I could change one thing, I said it just before Flawless came on, but I said Manchester United, we lose our own games. We're our own downfall. And that's exactly what this game epitomizes, For me, it was simple as this. Villarreal, for 120 minutes, done the same thing. They had 2 banks of 4, Gerard Moreno and Carlos Bacca dropping in. That was it. Let Man United have the ball. Come and break us down. The fact that we made changes in 105 minutes speaks volumes. The only positive I can look from that is that Ollie's trying to tell the board, I don't trust these 15 man here. I want signings. That's the only positive. However, Ollie, I'm a bit more Ollie in. Yeah, of course I am. But he got it so wrong. For me, if you got a team setting up a 4-4-2, with Manchester United, we've got Cavani, Greenwood, Rashford, potentially Diallo, James, Mata, who can create. Go to 4-4-2 and match them then, because if we're playing 4-2-3-1 and they're defending us, go with 2 up top and maybe Greenwood or Rashford's movement could cause them trouble. His ability not to change formation killed us. That was the perfect moment.
It's killed us all season. He has no plan B.
I just said it.
No plan B.
And that's my whole point. How people have turned Ollie out after that final when we've seen all of these issues before, him failing to make changes. And then when he makes the changes late, he makes the wrongest changes. And him not trusting the bench. They're his signings. Diallo's your signing. Donny's your signing. Tellez is your signing.
What matter was made for that game.
Yeah, what matter?
Literally.
Someone to play in the mix. They're not trying to attack, and you're playing 2 holding midfielders. Why?
Well, for me, the biggest thing that you said right there is that, like, we've seen this before, and that hit me so hard because I see people on Twitter like excusing that, like saying, "Oh, I mean, I can't blame Ollie or whatever. It was just one game. Like, it's the same way we've played." But that's it. We've played that game so many times and just been lucky. And I've heard so many times this season, professional performance. Oh, it's a good win. But if you don't score that one goal with 5 minutes left in the game, what does the result say? If it's a 0-0 draw, we're not saying it's a professional performance. It's a shit result. It's a shit performance. We've had that performance a million times this season. It's just that we didn't have players bailing us out in certain moments to kind of turn a draw to a win or a loss to a draw. That's honestly the reality of it.
And you said it there, lucky. How many games can we look back at this season.
2-1,
And
1-0.
Do you see what I'm saying? Brighton away. We won the Brighton game because we got a penalty after the final whistle.
Facts.
After
Do you know what?
Yeah,
The biggest one was Granada away.
When was the
Granada
last
away was
time
the one I
you
was
remember
like,
Manchester United controlling the game? When we get the ball, we give it away so quick. Like since Carrick's gone, we do not control games until we start doing that. I'm telling you, wait, you man, my hairline's gone. You lot are next. Swear down. Wait, because we don't control games, and until we start doing that, we are going to be the same club where it's going to be up and down.
There's more games like this. The game Wolves at home. We won 1-0. It was
the majority of our wins are like this. This is why this whole coming from behind thing, you get what I'm saying? And that as we've been coined doggy style FC. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's us all the time. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Fulham away.
Burnley away. And Lies touched on it as well about our whole. That's why we're also individual brilliance FC, because that's how we win games. What I was banking on was for Pogba to produce it in, or Bruno, or Rashford, or Greenwood, or Cavani out of nothing, and it didn't happen.
And what are you saying about him playing Pogba deep in that game? Because because I think he played all his cards and he got it wrong.
Big mistake. He should have played him on the left because that's how he won. That's how he had most of his better performances. When you think about the AC Milan game, when he brought him on at half time, he brought him on that left hand side. Boom, scores, wins us the game. And so many good performances he had on that left hand side. But again, he likes he's got his favorites, so he has to make sure that his favorites are being put in the same position, in the best position possible. So Rashford was on the left hand side, but let's be real, he was trash.
Rashford was terrible.
I don't know Rashford.
Rashford was very lucky not to get taken off.
He's got to be worried next season. Do you know what? I'm going to say it now, and I don't care if people want to call me out. He's the one player that's in big trouble next season. I'm going to sum it up in 1 minute. Right, you've got Martial, forget this season, but your last year, 24 goals. He can play up front, he can play on the left. You got Greenwood, can play on the right, play up front. You got Cavani, he's a striker. You got Diallo, he can play left, he can play right. You got Daniel James, let's kind of forget about him. But add Sancho to this, he can play left and right as well. What's different that they can do what Rashford can't? They can play multiple positions. Rashford can't play up front. We saw against Arsenal when I mentioned it earlier. Got bullied by Gabriel. Couldn't hold up the ball. Can't play on the right. We've seen him wasted there. Rashford can only play on the left. So if he's not playing well on the left-hand side, we've got Sancho potentially, Martial, and then we've got obviously Diallo that's going to get more minutes next season that can play on that side. He needs to pick up. And I know he gets consistent numbers and stuff, but the performances for me, if we look at Manchester United, because we watch it, people that will just log on their phone, check on teletext, Rashford scored again, sick, he must have played well. No. Watch the game. He's got to be worried because he could only play on the left. If his performances drop, I see him in big trouble, man. Forget that he's come up from the youth and he's a Manchester boy and he does food and all that rash food, but come on, man. Like, listen, he's got to be worried.
Because
relentless.
What I'll say, you're a bad guy. Rashford, hey, we can't let Liverpool fans get a hold of that, you know. Because that's just fresh slander for next season. One thing I will say about Rashford is that I feel like he needs to recover from these injuries first, man. He needs to somebody in his camp needs to tell him to put himself first, because you can see the impact that the injuries he's carrying has had on his performances. As you said, he's continued putting up numbers, but the performances just haven't been there. He's playing with a crooked ankle, crooked back, crooked shoulder. Like, everything about him right now, he's just breaking down, and you're just begging him, like, come off the pitch and just rest, recover, do what you need to do to get back to 100%, because we've seen Rashford when he's flying.
Look off Greenwood, our best attacker in that final.
Let me say this about Rashford. I want to say this. I think next year, everyone's talking about Sancho on the right, Rashford on the left. I would not be surprised if Sancho is playing on the left and Rashford is on the right. Because for me, I've said it for months. Rashford's best attribute is being an outlet. It's his speed. It's running in behind. When he plays this little left wing thing, he gets his numbers, but how many times you just see him get on the ball, completely stop, the attack just dies, he squares up the defender, and 50% of the time he'll get by him, 50% of the time he'll lose it, and our attack dies. For me, his best strength is his speed running in behind. I've always said it, man, you play him like Spurs plays Son, I think he'll unlock another element in his game. I think he's kind of hit a dead end in this left-hand side position. I think we've needed him because of like our lack of real game changers up front, but I think you bring in Sancho. Sancho for me is better off the left. I'd put Rashford on the right, or he's not better than Sancho.
You like Rashford on the right? Yes, really.
I don't like him on the left. That's what I'll say.
You know why I agree with Lies on why I like him on the right is because it forces him to think more. When he plays on the left, you know what Rashford does? Cuts in and shoots.
shoot.
That's what it
And
is. He
that's
cuts
not
in and
that's
shoots.
not a consistent.
But-
It's not a sustainable
Yeah,
enough way of scoring goals.
This
Like,
is
it's
what I'm
not
saying, but
consistent
It
enough.
enables him to
Facts.
cross like the Cavani header against Villa. He crosses
That's
it
my whole
right.
point. Because
there you go.
Yeah.
if you look at, that's exactly where I was going to go with it. If you look at Rashford when he plays on the right, look at where he's crossing for the Cavani goals. If that's him on the left, he's not crossing, he's shooting.
Yeah.
And we're not getting no goals. It forces him to think more, which is what I like. So that's why I don't mind him on the right. I don't mind him too fast on the left.
Only thing I'd say about Rashford on the left, I get what you guys are saying, because you see a lot of the time when he plays on the left, he'll come inside, try and shoot, or try and force a cutback. But I do like his passing from, like, he does get guys like Shaw, Bruno in behind with his passing from the left. I feel like that's one facet of his game from the left which kind of dies when he goes to the right. So, but if we do end up bringing in Sancho, him off the left would be a great look. I like the fact that we can have choices next season if we get these quality players in.
Yeah,
I think we've had to play Rashford on the left because that's our only like. Who else is going to play there? We're not playing Daniel James there ahead of him.
Exactly.
If you get Sancho in, and it
what he figured out. Sorry to cut you off, Banks. You got Pogba who can now play on the left. That's what it took Oli a whole season
that was
to
what
figure
I was meant
out.
to add in there, add into my topic. Pogba on the left now. So Rashford's
Pogba on
got
the left.
5 man competing
But then,
with.
again, the Rashford Shaw link up is good, but the reason why Pogba has to play on the left because he's too adamant on playing 2 holding midfielders. You could play Pogba as an 8, Bruno as an 8-1-6. Then if you really want to play, you could play Rashford on the left and play Pogba on the left of a 3 as well. But he's adamant on this 4-2-3-1. This is the manager.
Man.
All roads lead back to the dugout, innit? All roads lead back to the dugout. All these issues and all the things we're talking about here lead back to that. The fact that we're talking about Pogba or Rashford. Why not Pogba and Rashford?
Yeah.
All this talk about if we sign Sancho, where's Rashford going to play? Competition for places. City have Mahrez, Sterling, Foden, Bernardo Silva, Aguero, all to fit in. They have no issues, Jesus, but we can't find 2 man. But they have 2 man for each position who are both quality and that. Rotate, utilize your squad.
If we manage to sign players good enough to bench that we're playing well enough that Rashford has to sit on the bench, I'm more than happy for that.
Yeah,
I'm more than happy for him to have to fight to get back into the team. That's the sign of a good team. You've got good players keeping good players out. That's what you want. End of the day, that's what you want. You want players like Rashford to be hungry to get back into the team.
Yeah, guys. Sorry, I'm gonna have to leave. Yeah, I'm gonna have to dip. So yeah, thank you for having me on.
Salute, man.
Big up Aaron, man.
Big up Aaron. Thank you very much for coming.
I'd love to get you on. Yeah, I'd love to get you man back on my channel as well. We'll all link up together, man. One big family, man.
Yeah. Anytime.
Pattern it. 100%.
All right, got a couple of awards I want to give out first. First, Manchester United Player of the Year. Who do you lot think it should go to?
Bruno.
I'm going Luke Shaw.
Yeah, I'd have to go Shaw as well. I'd say Shaw. Yeah.
Lars.
Why am I going Bruno?
Oh wait, so you went Bruno?
Yeah, I went Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno, Shaw. Okay, fair enough.
Oh no, I've gone Shaw. So Bruno, Shaw.
Okay, yeah, Bruno, Shaw. Oh, 2 Shaw. All right, fair enough. Young Player of the Year.
Ooh. You know what? You can't really give it to anyone else, I feel.
Who else is a young player who's played? Yeah,
Rashford is apparently eligible according to the Premier League. Even though
but Rashford like 24.
What? So you might all saying Henderson, yeah?
Yeah, that's it. Henderson, you know. Yeah.
That's got to be Mason, man.
Yeah,
got to be young
Mason. I'll go Greenwood. Yeah.
Same.
Okay. Next one. Biggest surprise of the season.
Luke Shaw.
Yeah,
Luke Shaw. No one was expecting his form. It's Luke Shaw. Like if someone would have said Luke Shaw would have been your player of the season. We would have been like, what? Like his form's been incredible.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah,
I'd say it's Luke Shaw.
I was low key gonna pick Cavani because I can't lie. Me personally, I didn't think he still had it in him to.
I agree.
To be clapping goals. So
it's just the end of the season for me though, just because I feel like he had that push at the end. But if it was the whole season, then yeah.
The first couple matches Cavani was playing, I was thinking, get this guy out of here. Hey,
he was looking shaky.
I just see this guy run everywhere. I was just thinking, bro, can we get some link-up play out of you or what? Every second, this guy was just making a new run.
Don't worry, man. Homeboy's back next season. Summer off from France.
This guy.
Yeah, man. Martial back, man. Let's hope so.
Trust me, this is it for him, man.
That leads up to my next question. Biggest disappointment.
Martial.
I feel like you might have a similar answer for that one.
Man.
Martial, my guy, but yeah, it was Martial. No.
Yeah.
Went from a
Do you know
23
what?
goal
I
season
actually think this France elimination thing could be a blessing for him, yeah. Because just to talk him in quickly, I know he's got 3 years, I think, left in his contract, so 2 next year. This 12 months time it'll be 2. So the club will be in a position whereas I know the Glazers love him, but they're going to be like, right, do we sell now with 2 years? Or do we let his contract run down? They don't want another contract situation where it runs down. So he's had 1 good season under Oli, 24 goals. This season, a poor one. For me, it's 1-1. Let's go and get this winner in the season, man, and kick on. Bruv, 17 league goals last season without penalties.
Yeah.
If he can bring that back to us, man, that Man City performance away reminded us of what he can do. And this is why I stand by him so much. And people laugh, but like he was man of the match that day and didn't get a goal. If he can bring that again next season and get his head down and realize, like, right, Sancho signed, I've got to kick on. If he does it, we've got it's like another signing for us next season, man.
I'm a big fan of him. I'm a big fan. I'm with you on that. I'm a big fan. I think he can definitely turn it around next season. Like, people are quick to write him. Yes, was he poor this season? Yes, so next season he has to deliver.
Yeah,
he has to deliver 100%.
Simple as that. Boy, this has been a sick show.
Favorite match of the season? Do you have
Spurs.
a favorite?
For me, it's Spurs. No, Spurs the
Spurs.
second game. I thought that's some of the best football we've played all season. Personally,
That was good. That was a good vibes game. That was especially the fact that we got cheated the first half. It made it sweeter.
Yeah, it's tough because we've touched on it already, and I'm sure you touched on it before. I was on about us not playing well but having moments. So rather than us actually playing well, moments stick out. Like West Ham, the 3 goals we scored against West Ham, the Pogba long range shot, the Greenwood spin, the pass that Mata played into Rashford when he wasn't even looking at him, like with backspin, was ridiculous in it, and then Rashford dinking the keeper. That one sticks out. Newcastle away, that'll probably be mine. That's a great shout. Roma, the home leg. You know what I'm saying? Typical United, 1 goal up, 2-1 down, and then battering him 5-0 in the second half. But yeah, they're the 3 that stick out. But I would say Newcastle away. I agree with Path.
I'll go Leeds. I'll probably go Leeds home.
Ooh. Yeah,
Leeds
home was a good one as well. That was a good one.
That's a shout. It's always good to beat them like that as well.
Next up from the academy, who do you feel can break into the first team from the academy next season?
Hannibal Mejbri.
That's all I keep hearing about this kid. So yeah, I'm gonna go with. I don't follow the youth too much like that because the senior team pisses me off enough. But like, I don't even need more disappointment. But yeah, I keep hearing about Hannibal. He's one of those like people continuously bring up his name. So that's
I'm excited by him and Diallo, you know. I'm excited. Like, just the little glimpse I saw against Wolves, the way like they got that guile just to get past 1 or 2 players and show bravery, something that I feel our midfield's too safe. They feel like, no, I'm gonna do. They got that youthful thinking about them, but in a mature mind body. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really like Diallo as well. I would even thrown him on against them Villarreal. I just like the guile and the bravery to take on, man.
I'm so pissed he didn't come. Diallo did. Ahmad didn't get to come on against Villarreal. It was try and win the game, Ollie. Just try and win the game. But yeah, once Ahmad and Hannibal really fill out their body, start growing, I feel like they could be crazy players as well.
Trust me.
All right. Interesting. What next for United? What do we need to do next season to be successful?
Yeah, new manager. New manager first and foremost. And the correct players. New manager, man. New manager. We should have been successful this season. And when I say successful, I'm talking about winning the Europa League. Like, we should have.
So who would you be your manager? You go out and get
Zizou.
Who's left?
No,
supposedly, Ancelotti. You know what? I would take. Who would be my first choice? But I think he's going to Madrid now. Would have been Ancelotti. When his talk says he's going to Madrid. I would have took Ancelotti.
After this season,
would have took Ancelotti. 100% would have took Ancelotti. 100%.
I can't believe I've got to go on a set for another show. But this would be a big debate. Ancelotti for me, no way. I've seen him because basically we've done a podcast Never a Foul, like top 4 managers, and loads of people put him in, but I've read and seen that he's very outdated. A lot of his like training schedules are just like, right, 11-side matches, just go out and play. Like, there's no actual coaching involved. He's more like a bit of a vibes manager, just like pick good players and they win, attract good players, and I'll try and win. But coaching wise, he's not great. I think it was Philip Lahm and Iron Robin. He came in after Pep, and they were like, raw, this is so different. Like, this is a different world. This ain't good at all. And obviously it didn't work out from at Bayern. He wanted to win the Champions League. Didn't. I know Pep didn't, but you can still see he's a good coach. For me, I know Conte with his 3-5-2, that might work for us. But for me, if I'm honest, I keep Oli for 1 more year. Forget the 3-year deal.
Nah.
Flawless. Listen.
No.
This is right. I'll tell you why. Let me just quickly tell you.
Got you, man. No, man.
No DM. No
Yeah,
DM, no right
Mhm.
wing, no centre back. So this is Manchester United, and he's picking 8 players out of 11 every week that he's got in a natural position. At least give him the signings that he's got a good 11, and then let's say, right, next year, let's see what you can do. If not, at least you've got an 11. So the next manager comes in and he hasn't got a big rebuilding job to do.
Nah, because the reason why I don't say that, because he don't utilize what he has now. We're talking about new signings. He signed Donny.
Facts.
He didn't use Diallo. He signed Diallo, doesn't utilize him to the
Facts.
fullest. I don't
Yeah,
even if we get the free signings that's needed, I don't trust him to utilize them. If we were to sign Ndidi, he'd probably still play McTominay next to him or Fred.
Yeah,
This guy gotta go.
I get
And
that.
what you're talking about with Ancelotti as well in terms of him coaching. I know his coaching's better than Ollie's. I'd say that much. You know what I'm saying? And I would definitely take him. 100%.
I can't lie, me personally, I think I'll take a bit of Conte terrible for a season or two.
I would take Conte,
I'll take a bit,
Ancelotti.
I'll take a bit of Conte terrible.
Conte is
I'd take
a
you at this point.
top manager, bro. But I'm thinking about these Darmian signings. I'm looking at these
Bro,
Zappa signings.
him
I'm
2 years,
good off
you have to
that,
give him
man.
2
I'm
years
not trying to
before
see
he
that
causes
anymore.
any
I
damage.
can't-
He'll bring
You have to
Ashley
give
Young.
him
He'll
2
bring
years.
Ashley Young back.
You
Hell
have to give
no.
him 2 years before he can do any road. Like, give him any more than 2 years, and he'll start signing some Gabbiadinis,
Well,
some Graziano Pellas. Start bringing all of these guys back. You gotta give him a
You know what
nice
it is
little.
though? I would take any of these managers we've just named because I think any of these managers do a better job, whether it's an Ancelotti, whether it's a Zidane, a Conte, who I'm not big on, he wouldn't be my first choice. But if Conte came in, I'd be over the moon. But at least I know he's coming in with
I
me.
mean, I'm not a beggar, but I'm just I'll take Conte. I'm just saying. I think for me it'd be Zidane. I think Zidane is a good manager. Like I think Conte is too much of a shakeup. I think you bring him to United, like everything changes. He brings in his own players, takes out 10. The feel good factor that Aldi, to be fair, has instilled into the club kind of goes away. I think Zidane is kind of in the mold of Aldi, but for me, just a much better tactician. And you look at what he's done with Real Madrid this season. That whole back four has been out the whole season. Ramos, Varane, Carvajal, Mendy, they've been in and out of the team. His top scorer is Benzema with 23 goals. The second top scorer is Casemiro with 6. He has done wonders for that Real Madrid team. Everyone thought he was kind of like, oh, he's just banking off Ronaldo for his 3 Champions Leagues. He came back, won a league, won a cup, shown that he's still a top manager. I don't think we're going to get him just because I think he's probably in line for the France job after Deschamps leaves, but that would be my pick for United.
Sorry, guys. I'm not trying to cut you.
I know you gotta go, Ty, but I just want your rating for the season out of 10 quickly before you go.
I've got it here. 6 out of 10. If we won Europa League, I would have gone a 7 or 8 because we won a trophy and got top 4. But yeah, man, I just want to say, everyone in the comments, big up, smash that like and subscribe button for Final Third. You can see us at Never a Foul, myself, Tarrant MC, big up Flawless, big up Lies. We're all big one family. So we're all going to be doing link ups over the summer, guys. Stay blessed, yeah?
100.
Big up. Thank you for having me.
Lyles, you want to go next? What do you think season out of 10? Could you give us a rating?
I want to 6 for me is generous, but I don't want to
like this guy, man. Man, hella realist than that. I like this guy, hella realism. You ain't said one thing I've disagreed with in that. My guy, you know what I'm saying? Just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? Love that.
I'll probably say a 5, man, just because the thing is, I didn't think we were going to do anything this season. Like when we came into the season, I had no expectations. I was thinking top 4, we're lucky. So in that regard, yeah, we've done well, but I also didn't expect in the beginning of the season for Chelsea to fall off, for Liverpool to fall off, for Arsenal and Spurs to have catastrophic seasons. So I feel like we kind of have taken advantage of their poor form. But second, 15 points behind first, what does that mean? That's nothing. It's nothing. We didn't win anything. We disappointed in every single competition we were in. It has to be a 5. It has to be a 5.
Flawless, what are you thinking? Out of 10.
4, 4.5. That's what I would call it. Below average. It would have been a 6 if we would have won the Europa League because we've won a trophy, but then we've won a second-tier European competition that we shouldn't have been in the first place. We should not have been in it. People forget that winning the Europa League, yes, is all well and good, but we were in the Champions League.
Should have never been in there.
We shouldn't have been in that because we're a Champions League team. And don't get it mistaken when I say that. I'm not saying United should win the Champions League or be in the final or the semi-finals. What I'm saying is we're good enough to compete in that competition. We're good enough to get out of the group stages. We're good enough to be in the first knockout round. Then if you get a favorable draw, maybe go to the quarters. We've seen the likes of Lyon and Leipzig get to semi-finals. You're telling me we can't do that? So we've seen this happen before. You know what I'm saying? And that we've seen this, even Dortmund who made it to the quarters and exceptional. I
ask what's different about this season now that the year is over, right? We're out of all the competitions. We have nothing to look forward to anymore. What's different between this season and Jose's 2017-18 season, which people lambasted him for? People were saying, second place. He was talking about it was a great season. People lambasted that season, and this season is being heralded as progress. What is the difference between both of them?
You know what the difference is? One's called Jose Mourinho, and one's called Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's what the difference is.
It's the same season, just with better vibes. That's it.
That's
same season, better vibes.
One's painted as being progress, the other is being painted as being a disappointment. For me, it's the same thing.
Exactly the same thing. I cussed everybody that said we had a good season 2017, 2018. I thought it was such an average season. And it's the same thing here. Bounced out of the Champions League, nowhere close towards the eventual champion of the Premier League. No cups. It's just like, yeah, we completed the season. That's it. We completed it. We didn't win anything. We just completed it. So
and again, on the cup competition, adding in the league, the way we didn't compete with Manchester City at all. We never competed for the title. Like I always say, I'm not even talking about Manchester United winning competitions. We can compete. This squad is good, and this team is good enough to compete. That's why we were top of the league. That's why we did
I said at one point this season, I said I would be happy. I said in like January, like when people were hyped about the season while we were on a title race, I said I'll be happy this season if we finish within 10 points of first, which means we would have gone the distance with them all year. Like that's competing for me. And that's barely competing. But I said 10 points. Okay, I can take that. And if we win either the FA Cup or the Europa League. We didn't do any of it. I can't call that anywhere remotely a success.
And the manner in which we went out of the cup competitions, the manner in which we went out of the Champions League,
like the manner in which we limped out of the title race, 100%.
Manner in which we did that. We lost in a cup quarterfinal, semi-final, and a final. How is that success? We lost in the FA Cup quarterfinal, the League Cup semi-final, and the Europa League final. And again, there's a way to lose in that. We never went and attacked. In the quarterfinal against Leicester, we didn't go for it. In the semi-final against City, we didn't go for it. In the final against Villarreal, we didn't go for it. Needed 1 point from 2 games, didn't go for it, type of thing. And the manager and the players both have to be held accountable for that. So that's why I'm giving it a 4 and a below average. Below average. We've got nothing to look forward to. Yeah.
Boys, I love talking United because sometimes you just need to get this shit off our chest. Sometimes you just need to get off our chest. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Flawless and Laos. Laos, first time contributor to the Final Third. Thank you very much for coming on.
My pleasure.
Flawless, big friend of the family. Thank you again for coming on.
Come on, man. You already know.
You guys make sure take this time. Please plug whatever you want to plug into our to our viewers. Please let them know what you've got going on.
Oh, I'll go first then, I guess. YouTube, a whole lot of mid. United talk on there, but if you're just a football fan in general, I upload comps, I upload just a bit of everything. There's gonna be a lot of stuff for the Euros as well, so come through for that. And you can find me on Twitter at whole lot of Elias. There you go.
Elias, so have I been saying it wrong this whole time?
Yeah, you have, but it's all good, bro.
It's literally the second review in a row where I've not.
Nah, it's good, bro. Don't worry about it. Next time.
Yeah. Next time you'll get it, man. Third time lucky in that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, people.
Please.
Yeah, go on.
Plug in. Go and plug in, please.
You can catch me Twitter and Instagram. That's me, Flawless. So follow me on there, and make sure you subscribe to Sarcasm City TV as well. We go live every day. Of course, there's Manchester United content on there, but there's other content, Arsenal content, football in general, boxing, politics, plus more. You get me basketball watch-alongs also. So check it out. There's an upcoming live stream section on the channel, so you can see everything that's coming up. Playlist for every show as well, so you can see that. But yeah, Sarcasm City TV. Subscribe to us in it. Road to 3K for us in it. So please go and subscribe.
All right, guys, I'm your host, Banks. I thank you very much for sticking in with us and watching our Manchester United season review. We've had we've had Flawless, we've had Liaz, we've had Mr. Aaron United, and we've had Ty from Never a Foul. Make sure you're subscribing to the Final Third. Make sure you're following us on the socials. That's at the Final 3RD_. I thank my guests once again for coming on. It's been Banks. It's been the Final Third. Good night, people.
Peace.
Yeah, man. Big up. Yo, big up.
You are now listening to The Final Third.
I think Pepe's so coachable.
Wow, you should be in
just need to shake him.
You should be in prison. We build you out. We build you out to come and play this season. You're out here disgracing us. You should be in prison. You face charges.